everybody, Lord Tremendous here, got a battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle, 'tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus the Beardless Beardling of the Dwarven Holds. This is my becoming regular Dwarven opponent, and I love having a Dwarf opponent. I really like the Dwarf list, I like playing against them. You know, you're going to get a good stand-up, beat down type of fight, and you're going to see some big horde bricks and stuff like that with some artillery. So I enjoy it. It's a good little challenge for my ogre boys. And yeah, so I'm going to stop babbling about it and I'm going to get right down to it. Here's my list, and I think maybe there was a slight change from my last one, but not much. I have my Lord, the Great Khan Berserk. He's got Kagadai's Maul, Yeti Furs, Talisman of Greater Shielding, the Divine Icon, and he's also got the big name Headhunter. Not a whole lot of change there, because when you have perfection, you do not mess with it. Next up, I have the Scrappling, the Myth, the Legend, my hero, Kaka Shabadu. He's a shaman. Sorry, I should have started with that. He's a level 2 wizard, because level 1 just wouldn't cut it. He has the Tome of Arcane Lore, and he uses the Path of Butchery. So yeah, just like my last battle. I also have the Shaman, the Combuster. He is now a level 1 wizard. I gave him Fire Blast because I wanted to try it. He's got the Demon Heart, the Ring of Fire, and he used the Path of Fire. Like I said, he's a level 1 wizard because I'm giving him the Ring of Fire. I know I could probably just give him a level 2 for 10 points cheaper and good to go, but I thought the bounce spell plus possibly Fireball, which I don't end up going with this game, and the Demon Heart and all that, just I wanted to try it. I wanted to give him the Breath Weapon. I wanted to see what he could do. I really didn't want Troll Eater on him again, so I changed his kit out a little bit, and while I'm not super pleased with it, I kind of changed his kit up in like 10 minutes prior to this game starting. I played this game right after my last game, so it was more desperation than purpose, and I want to give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. Of course, I have my Khan. He's my BSB. He's got a great weapon, if you couldn't tell by the model. He uses the Mithril Mail because I love the 2-up armor save, and the Gemstone Amulet so that when he fails the 2-up armor save, he gets 1 4-up ward, which is a pretty good kit so far. Of course, the true enforcer of my army, my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got his Iron Fist, the Ogre Crossbow, the Armor of Destiny, Rotten Jaw, and he's on a Tusker. Absolutely love this guy, and you're going to see why. For my core, I've got a unit of 7 Tribesmen with Iron Fist, Heavy Armor, Full Command, and the Flaming Standard, so no change there. Then I've got a unit of 5 Tribesmen with Iron Fist, Heavy Armor, Banner Musician, just a bunker for one of my Shaman. And a unit of 4 Bruisers, butt naked. Their job is just kind of heavy chaff and maybe support if I need it. Plus, I really like the models. Leading off my special choices, I've got a unit of 5 Scrappling Trappers. Absolutely love these guys, they're amazing. I've got my speed bump, the Sabertooth Spider. I've got my keystone unit, the 5 Mercenary Veterans with Banner, Musician, Iron Fist. They have Lethal Strike, Bodyguard, and the Stalker Standard. I know I keep talking about taking it off of them, but I keep just not pulling the trigger on it because I really like Swift Stride. My problem with it is that's all I'm using this standard for is Swift Stride. Strider's nice, but whatever. I really, really wish I could get just Swift Stride on these guys without having to get rid of Lethal Strike or Bodyguard and not pay 40 points to do so. But for the moment, until I decide to pull the trigger, they still have the banner. And then, of course, the Kin Eater, Elizabeth, the most vicious bitch on the table. And starting off my rare choices, I have my Slave Giant. And I finish off my list with the Scratapult. That's going to do it for my list. Coming up is my opponent's list. I'm going to play some music. Feel free to pause it wherever you want if you want to see exactly what he has. Here are my spells, minus the fire ones, because I haven't printed them out yet. But if memory serves, I believe I had Burning Ramparts for the one Lore of Fire, or Path of Fire spell that I had. And here's deployment. For the most part, basic deployment for me. As you can see in the middle, I've got my Tribesmen with my BSB. I've got my Merc Vets with my General, and my Tribesmen with my Shaman, with the other Shaman right behind him, going after the big, meaty center of his army. I saw where he was putting all of his Horde bricks, and I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go after him. I have the Scratapult on the hill over there on the right just to start laying down pie plates on as many of those little bastards as I can. And I've got Lord Tremendous and my my Giant on the left flank, there to draw fire. I know he's going to shoot at my Giant. I'm well aware of that. I know my Giant's probably going to go down before he gets in there, but it's 150 points I'm willing to spend so that the rest of my army gets through unscathed. That volley gun on the hill scares me to death. I've got my trappers way over there on the left side, on the other side of the forest, because it was too close to teeter them on the edge, so I just put them on the other side there. It's just a forest, it's not a hill. And their job is going to be somehow possibly get past those little gunner guys and start throwing stuff at his volley gun as soon as possible, just to try to take it out. I don't want that thing getting too many shots off on anything in my army because it'll decimate me. Other than that, though, I mean, what you see is what you get. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists from left to right. My Scrappling Trappers there on the left. His gunner guys in the middle there. I don't remember what they're called. He's got his volley gun in there, and then he's got what used to be a Slayer. I can't remember what they're called now. The little orange mohawk guy on the very side of the hill. Here's his center from left to right. God, I can't even remember what they're called anymore. The Greybeards, I believe, are on the left, and he's got his BSB and possibly his general in there. He's got Anvil of War or whatever in the middle, and then he's got another big unit of guys with great weapons on the right there, and I think there's some sort of a runic priest or something like that in that unit. I can't remember all the terms. And here's my opponent's left flank, which consists of some more shooty guys and some statuesque guys. And the cool thing about it, I'm sure you can kind of tell, is the two little statue things on the right were actually 3D printed by a buddy of mine for my opponent. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Here's my right flank, and once again, my camera's doing the weird urine yellow friggin' filter. I have figured out, I think, how to fix that, but not with these pictures, unfortunately. But so I apologize for the crappy urine pictures, but hey, you know what? You're getting a battle report, and I'll refund your money, so. I know, I'm the only one complaining. But from right to left are my Bruisers, my Saber-Tooth Spider, and my Scratapult. Here's my center. From right to left, I have my Tribesmen with my BSB. I've got my Merc Vets in the middle there with my General. On the left on top of the hill there, I've got another unit of Tribesmen with Kaka Shabadoo. And on the back is the proxy for the Combustor. And then defending my left flank, I have Lord Tremendous and my Slave Giant. Here's top one after movement, and I didn't get to go first, which is why I explained my deployment like I did, because I was able to see where he placed all his stuff. As you can see, he takes that steady rule to heart, and they come at me 9 inches in the middle there. They are not hesitating. He is confident and full of rage coming right at me. His unit on the left there, the shooty guys, they turn to shoot at either my Giant or Lord Tremendous or the Scrappling Trappers. I wasn't sure which at the time, but yes, they're ready to shoot. His weird psychopath dwarf with the orange mohawk comes running down the middle as well. He's looking for a fight, and I'm going to give it to him. Meanwhile, the ones on our right flank there, they kind of traffic jam a little bit. The guys get stuck. There's that 1 inch to half inch rule between you and the impassable terrain, and that's what that rock formation is on the right there. That's impassable terrain. He has to kind of keep away from it, so he's trying to maneuver his guys around to get past it, and that's as best as he could do in this particular situation. But nothing super fancy, just very aggressive by the dwarves. I was impressed. Nothing happens in his magic phase, go figure. So go into shooting, and his volley gun unloads on my tribesman on top of the hill, and he kills one and does 2 wounds to another. Holy crap. That's it for his turn, so we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and just to show some aggression of my own, we fire forward as well. My entire center there moves forward to go after him. I move the combustor over to the left a little bit so he can take some pot shots at that damn volley gun, and probably catch some in return. But it is what it is. I was also toying with the idea of maybe shooting up his little orange mohawk guy. I hadn't decided yet. Lord Tremendous comes up past the impassable terrain there to put some pressure on the shooty guys. I want them shooting at him as opposed to my giant. Let's see if he takes the bait. I did leave a little bit out there so the orange guy could charge him. I really didn't think he would. This guy knows what Lord Tremendous can do, but you'll see what happens there. The scraplings come up to throw some hate at those guys. I'm still only moving them 4 inches at a time because, like an idiot, I didn't realize they have the light troop rule. And on the right side there, my Scratapult moves slightly to get a better angle, and my bruisers move up to watch that right flank. So anything that comes down that bottleneck, I should get a real nice flank charge on. Meanwhile, Saber-Tooth Spider runs up to try to just not bottleneck, but speed bump anything that comes in there, giving me a nice counter charge if he's foolish enough to take the bait. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Bone Crusher off, I believe, on his volley gun, and I do 1 wound to it, which is a pretty good start considering I need 6s to wound this damn thing. Then in the shooting phase, the Scratapult kicks us off with a beautiful, beautiful misfire. It was going to be a great hit, too. I had a perfect little position. And he's overeager is all. He really enjoys killing the stunties. And he just, unfortunately, does. He gets overeager, and I misfire. So, yeah, I misfire 5. He takes a wound, and the shot doesn't count for anything, which is a little upsetting. But you know what? He's still in the fight. He can still shoot. Let's see what happens. So with my turnover, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and he has slowed down significantly. His guys move around on our right flank there so that the Golem guys can get through. I believe they try to charge my Saber-Tooth Spider and fail. He stands his ground, and they don't make it to him, which is awesome. And the rest of his army just kind of stops. His psychopath guy with the orange mohawk, he charges into the flank of Lord Tremendous. I truly believe he was just completely done with life, or he had some super special attack I was unaware of. Either way, I felt pretty good about my chances. And for the most part, nothing else moves. I think he's waiting for me to fail a charge so he can countercharge me. Well, you'll see how that goes. There's a better picture of those weird golem things failing a charge against Saber Spider, and that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and I loves him for it. And there's a better picture of his little psychopath guy charging Lord Tremendous, begging him to help him shuffle loose his mortal coil. During the shooting phase, the little unit of shooty guys fire at my giant and put 2 wounds on him, and yeah, that was pretty smart. And then, yeah, he shoots his volley gun at my tribesman again and rolls boxcars, so he misfires. I'm telling you, it is not a good game to be a any kind of artillery or war machine type of unit. Let me tell you, mine is misfiring, his are misfiring. It's mass hysteria. And just like me, he misfires 6 and ends up putting another wound on his thing, and he couldn't shoot this turn. Man, I mean, it's really going to come down to fisticuffs at this rate. No shooting. So we go into combat, and little psychopath, he's able to actually slip a wound through on Lord Tremendous. I was quite impressed. Unfortunately for him, I was able to slip through a lot more than one. Beat this guy within an inch of his life, and then I kick him a foot over the line. Yeah, the little psychopath with the mohawk got obliterated, and yeah, that was really the only outcome I could see happening. So with that all said and done, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and there has been some. My Merc Vets charged his, I want to say they're Greybeards on the left there, and slam into them gung-ho. My Lord Tremendous and my Giant charge into the shooty guys on the left flank there, and they're able to actually do another wound to Lord Tremendous. They slip another one through, so he's half alive right now. We're going to take the optimistic approach. Elizabeth comes onto the field, and she goes up behind the anvil, ready to just destroy that thing before it can do anything. And other than that, everything else pretty much stays put and waits. Saber-Tooth Spider there is blocking the great weapon guys so that if they try to move or do anything, they're going to have to charge him in order to do it, possibly giving me a flank, a rear, who knows. I mean, yeah, they're going to destroy him and reform, but it stops him from slamming into the flank of my Merc vets, and that's what's important. Other than that, my Tribesmen and the Combustor move up because I really, really, really want to kill that volley gun before it can shoot again. That's about it. There's a better picture of my General and the Merc vets slamming into, I believe, the Greybeards, and the hope here is that we are just going to murder death kill the whole lot of them. And there's a better picture of Lord Tremendous and my Giants slamming into this unit of shooty guys, and we are going to murder death kill the whole lot of them. During the shooting phase, again, I go for the other shooty brick of dwarves, and I misfire again, twice in a row. I can't win. This time, though, I misfire 4, which means I can't shoot this turn or next. So at this point, it's like, you know what? You're a chariot, you got some strength 5 on you, you're only toughness 4, but it's time for you to contribute to this damn battle. I decided at this point I'm not shooting with them anymore, I'm sending them in. So what other option do I have? You can't misfire in close combat, right? I hope. So we go over here to combat, and we do the little shooty one first, and oh my goodness. We end up killing all but 3 of those guys, taking no damage in return. I believe my Giant did the 2d6 attacks, and I think he did like 9 attacks. It was glorious. Not to mention his Thunder Stomp. Lord Tremendous had to stomp. The impact hits Lord Tremendous did. The amount of wounds. The fact that there was 3 guys left was amazing by itself. Just due to combat res alone, they break. I go after them with both guys. My Giant only goes forward like 3 inches, but Lord Tremendous goes about 9, and I would have ran into the Engineer, but he panicked when the unit broke within 6 and fled. And he fled like 10 inches. Dude was motivated. So Lord Tremendous misses him, ends up on the hill right next to the volley gun. And honestly, I'm like, well, that sucks, but maybe I'll get lucky and he'll shoot the volley gun at Tremendous as opposed to the Giant. But, well, you'll see how that goes. And, his Engineer's on the way out, his unit of shooty stuff, the left flank is secured. I guess this went pretty well for me. Then we go over here into this combat, and it is brutal. No challenges are issued or anything like that. I don't want one, and honestly, I don't believe my opponent remembered. We end up killing 8 or 9 of the little dwarven bastards, but in return, they're able to kill one of my guys off and put a wound on another. So I win this combat. They're stubborn, steadfast, immobile, I don't know what, but they stick it out, and it's going to be a hell of a grind. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and just, lack of options. He takes the bait, and the big unit of great weapon toting guys charges the Saber Spider. We both know he's dead, but you know what? It's going to stop him from doing anything else and possibly give me a real beautiful charge right into him with my big unit with my BSB. I'm excited about that. His Golem unit or whatever it is on the right side turned to face the Bruisers because he doesn't want them slamming into the flank of the great weapon unit, which I'm actually okay with because now that I've decided that my Scratapult is going to be used as a chariot and not a catapult, I think I've got a pretty easy charge into the golems with the Bruiser, so I'm looking forward to that. His unit of shooty guys on the right flank turn to shoot at Elizabeth, and I just hope they don't have flaming attacks. And I believe his Engineer rallies. That's about it. There's a better picture of those guys running into my speed bump. And there's a better picture of his Engineer rallying. Nothing happens in the magic phase. We go over to shooting, and they, due to my opponent rolling pretty low, he was rolling like butt at this point. His dice had quit. He shoots at Elizabeth and is only able to slip 1 wound through past her 5-up regen, which that was really bad. In all fairness, Elizabeth should be at least 3 wounds deep right now. And then going with his dice rolling like garbage, he fires at my Giant, is only able to slip 1 more wound through. And, he's only got a 5-up armor, so he wasn't getting any armor. My opponent, unfortunately, was just, his dice were rolling a lot of 1s and 2s. We go into combat over here, and I believe his BSB issues a challenge. My General accepts, and he does 2 wounds to my General. I only do a wound back. And then we fire into his unit. The Merc vets go after his unit. And I think I kill like 8 more of his guys. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more guys plus a wound onto his BSB is 9. He does 1 wound back into my Merc Vets, just 1. Again, he's rolling like butt. He is stubborn or steadfast or whatever it is, and he sticks. But man, this battle's just going my way, and it's because I've recruited his entire dice pool. It's a little ridiculous. Then we go into this combat, and yeah, Saber Spider just gets obliterated, and that was to be expected. He doesn't overrun or anything like that. He just turns to face the Tribesmen and BSB that are right down in front of him. So with that done, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and on the left side there, my Giant does charge into his volley gun and makes it. It just, unfortunately, due to physics and balance and everything like that, I couldn't put him right next to it, but he is into the volley gun. Lord Tremendous slams into the Rallied Engineer because he has to die. Elizabeth charges into the Anvil of Doom thing over there because I don't want it there anymore. Meanwhile, my Tribesmen with Kakashabadu charge into the Great Weapon unit that just took out my Speed Bump Saber Spider, as well as my BSB and his Tribesman unit slamming in there because why not? You know, I'm not having fun if I'm not in close combat. Meanwhile, my Scratapult and my Bruisers make it into his Golems, and I'm hoping that I can get a hold, I can obliterate that unit or break it, and then overrun and hit that little shooty unit that he's got. I know the angle looks off in this picture, but actually the Scratapult and the Bruisers can slam right into him if I roll far enough on the overrun/pursue. Other than that, the Combustor moves around for reason. He's really not for combat. And my Trappers move up because they just want better seats than his ass whooping. And that's really about it. There's a better picture of my Scratapult and my Bruisers making it into his Golems. And you can also kind of see the angle a little bit better in this picture. As you can see, if I can get a far enough overrun, I should be able to slam into that shooty unit in front of me. There's a better picture of the wall of meat slamming into those Great Weapon Totem guys. This is going to be brutal. Whatever happens, I know how it works out. But whatever happens, I'm just thrilled this combat is occurring. Here's a better picture of my Giant slamming into the volley gun, and I know he's not right up against it, but I've already explained that. So if you weren't listening, I'm not explaining it again. And here's a better picture of Lord Tremendous slamming into his Engineer because he's got to die. And last but not least, here's a better picture of Elizabeth slamming into that Anvil guy. She's going to rip them apart. So the first thing that happens is my Giant starts to attack the volley gun and whiffs. Just butterfly kisses and high fives for everybody. In return, his crew fails to do anything to my Giant. I win by 1 because I charge, but they're stubborn like 10 and they stick. Over here, Lord Tremendous just destroys that champion. I think, honestly, impact hits does him in. And then I just turn to face because he's going to try to get back into whatever combat he can get into. Oh, and then Elizabeth. Oh, the silky smooth murderer that she is. Just destroys the Anvil. It wasn't even fair. Hatred is like cheating. Yeah, she decimates them and then overruns because I thought, why not? Maybe she'll roll high enough to get into these combats over here, but she didn't. She ends up right there, but that was just awesome. And then we go to the upset of the game, and we go into this combat, and Berserk gets murdered. I mean, the BSB hits and wounds with all his attacks, and all of them get through. Berserk dies, gets punked. I mean, seriously, he gets his face kicked in by a guy who barely came up to his knees. Meanwhile, though, my unit of Merc Vets, uninhibited by the failure that is Berserk, just pummel this unit, leaving them with, I think, 2 characters and a handful of Greybeards. So the unit's doing great. They take no damage. But my general dies. It's like, what the hell, guys? I believe I still win this combat, and they're still stubborn, so they don't break. Then we go into this massive combat, and as you can see, half of the dwarf brick dies. But in return, I lose 3 tribesmen, and both units are carrying a wound or 2. None of my characters get hurt or anything like that, but it is brutal in every aspect of the word. And it's also a lot of fun. In the end, I believe that unit is stubborn or something, or I don't win by much, or not enough to make them break, and they stay, and we are locked in this combat, which I'm actually feeling pretty good about. So we go into this combat over here, and yeah, it goes really well. Impact hits, I think, kill a guy outright. one of the golem things, and then just all my attacks, I'm able to just decimate them. They literally do one. I don't think they do not even one wound. No, that wound was on the Stratapult when he got in there. They don't do any wounds to me. I obliterate the unit, and I overrun with both. And I'm able to slam into the back of this of the shooty unit with both of my units. If this went any better for me, somebody would have came over and handed me a $20 bill. Seriously. I mean, even the camera decided to just completely glaze the entire picture in urine yellow just to celebrate the momentous occasion of everything going right. I'm literally going to get hit by a comet on my way home, but man, what a game to go out on, right? So with that, we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and there's not much. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any. Everything he has is dead or in combat, so this is what the table looks like. We go straight into combat, and now that my useless general is out of the way, the Merc Vets just tear into these guys. They kill off 6 more of the unit. I think the BSB is left with like maybe 1 guy, or maybe it's just the characters. I can't remember. But I win this combat, and they break, and I don't believe I run them down. I think they get away, but I am going after them. I don't have a picture of it because there was kind of a lot going on. I apologize, but trust me, that's what happened. We go into this combat right next door. You can kind of see on the top left side there that the unit did break, just because you think I'm a filthy liar, and they did get away. But we go into this combat, and it's still brutal. I kill 6 or 7 of his guys. I can't remember exactly how many, and he kills 3 of mine between the 2 units. So I'm down to like a handful of tribesmen, like 2 in the right, 1 in the left, one of which is carrying a wound, and my characters, and that's it. I win this combat, but I believe they're either steadfast or... No, I'm sorry. I lose this combat, and I am neither steadfast nor stubborn. And my BSB unit breaks. Damn it! Luckily, Kaka's unit sticks it out and stays in the combat, and then the doors reform to beat the crap out of them. But yeah, not only does my unit break and flee, but I think they go like 11 inches. Damn it! So yeah, not the outcome I was hoping for, but what an amazing fight. Over here, I'm able to kill, 3, 6, 7, 8 of the little shooty guys, but not enough to take away their rank. I don't have a rank because I've got 2x2 for my bruisers, and of course, Chariot doesn't have any ranks. So he doesn't do anything back to me, I don't think, but they're steadfast and they don't break. And then over here, the giant finally destroys the volley gun and avenges the death of the tribesman and takes away the scariest friggin' thing on the table, which is awesome. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and there's a little bit. The Combustor, the Giant, Lord Tremendous, they all come over to take a look at that great weapon toting units that's beating the crap out of my tribesmen. My Merc Vets do charge that unit of Greybeards that were fleeing, and they flee off the table. Unfortunately, my Merc Vets and everything like that, I think they catch them, but we end up off the table ourselves, so that's where they're at, up in the top center there. And my tribesman with BSB unit is able to rally, which is great. It sucks that I no longer have a BSB, but you know what? This game's going my way pretty solid. I shouldn't have too many more uses for the BSB. So they turn to face back at that unit to get another shot at it and hopefully get a little redemption. That's about it for movement, though. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Elizabeth did charge into the back of that unit there trying to help out Kaka Shabadu and the 1 remaining tribesman that's currently bleeding from the side of his head. Hopefully it's enough to keep them in combat. If not, well, she's unbreakable, but we'll see. There's a better picture of my mercenary vets where they ended up after catching the Greybeards that they either chased off the table or caught after they charged them and they had to flee again. In the magic phase, I desperately get regen off on this unit, just grabbing its straws. And then we go into combat, and we just obliterate the rest of that little shooty unit. They don't do anything back. They just can't. I mean, my opponent is rolling so bad. His dice have been the MVP on my team. Over here, Kaka Shabadu gets his face punched in. I don't regen anything. I'm not able to save enough, and she literally just gets beaten to death by the dwarves. They put all their attacks on her. The tribesman himself takes 1. He actually is able to regen some, and Elizabeth is perfectly fine. In return, I think we kill 4 with what's it called? Elizabeth's charge in the rear and everything like that. I think I win this combat. I'm almost positive, but his unit is either stubborn or steadfast, and they stay. So with that done, we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's none. It's my opponent's turn. He's only got a handful of models left on the table, and they're all in combat. So that's what it looks like. So we go straight into combat, and he is able to destroy the last tribesman and put a wound on Elizabeth. He wins this combat. She's unbreakable, and to be perfectly honest, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, because this unit represents everything that's left in his army, and what's left of my army has it completely surrounded. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and my opponent takes 1 look at what I'm going to do and says, you know what? I surrender. You got this. So there it is, guys and gals. There's the end of the game. Looks a lot like bottom of 5. And yeah, my opponent just, he threw in the towel. He knew it was coming. I mean, look, I had my giant, Lord Tremendous, a Scratapult, and my BSB with 2 tribesmen coming in there. Impact hits alone were going to be enough to finish that unit off, and he knew it. Elizabeth was in there. She was going to hold him. Even if one of my units did break, she would have probably stayed in there and held him up, but I mean, the way he was rolling, the way this game was going, it just wasn't in the cards. But yeah, quite a successful game for the Ogres, and you know what? We're going to get right over to the recap because this game is over. So yes, in the end it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. My opponent threw in the towel at the bottom of 5. I ended up losing Berserk, Kaka Shabadu, my unit of 5 tribesmen, and my Saber Spider. Everything else survived. So honestly, this was a victory I would just like to dedicate to my opponent's dice. Thank you for betraying your true master. A lot of things went my way. I mean, pretty much everything went my way in this game. Very few things were detrimental to the Ogres. The charges, his misfiring volley gun on double 6s, the fact that I made pretty much every charge I declared, it was beautiful. And then, of course, my opponent rolling 1s and 2s to hit and wound was a huge, well, just bonus, yeah. I don't know if I need my Great Khan in this army anymore. The way I want to run it, the way it's been running, I'm starting to think that, number one, the mercenary vets are being hindered by having a character in it. They could really put out a lot of damage all by themselves without a character in there helping them out. They don't really need them. This battle alone showed that. And to be honest with you, Berserk really hasn't done anything in the past few games. So really, I'm starting to think maybe he's a waste of points. I don't know. I might try running something other than a Great Khan as my general in the future game. Other than that, though, yeah, I still got some tweaks. I don't think I like the way the combustor is set up, but for the most part, this list is starting to become quite dangerous, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So expect to see just tweaks and stuff like that as I fine-tune the list. But as always, this was, of course, a great game, not just because I won. I really did. This was a great opponent. I do enjoy playing against this guy. Unfortunately for him, his dice were just completely and totally on my team, and that's unfortunate. We've all been there. And of course, I'm really looking forward to the rematch, not only because I enjoy playing against dwarves, but because I enjoy playing against this guy. But yeah, guys, that's it for this battle report. Number 10 is officially in the record books. You've seen me play the games. You know that they're good. You know that they're fun. And there's no reason that if you're not already playing the 9th Age that you shouldn't be. The rules are free. The army books are free. The only thing you need to pay for is an opponent, some dice, and a tape measure. Maybe some models. Whatever. I don't care. But go check it out, www.the-9th-age.com, or just be smart and check my description. Copy and paste. I mean, it's 2016. We're all lazy as hell. Just, go with the easy streak. I've done all the work for you. Get into this game, you crazy bastards, before we have to murder you. Uh, well, that's going to do it, guys. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and we will get back to you as quick as you can. Or I will get back to you. I don't know who the hell we are. But, yeah, guys, thanks.